about before they go to the polls on Tuesday. And joining me now is pollster, president of the Word Doctors, and author of the new book, What Americans Really Want, Really. The one and only Frank Luntz is here. Frank, and by the way, in a bipartisan group of New Jersey voters. Guys, welcome to Hannity tonight. You all give yourself a good hand. There we go. My first question we always ask, how many of you voted for Barack Obama? Raise your hands. Wow.
This is New Jersey. Remember, New Jersey's more Democrat than Republican.
Right.
And so if Christie can win this race, it sends a real message to Washington, D.C. I want to ask you all, you've heard the phrase, I'm mad as hell. How many of you define yourselves as mad as hell? Raise your hands. So even those of you who voted for Barack Obama, the entire front row is mad as hell. Dennis, what are you so angry at?
Angry at unemployment, that the rates keep getting higher, and nothing's getting resolved.
And
with
who do
it.
you
There are
blame
no
for
jobs.
that? Who do you blame for that?
The people that are running the country, the state.
Who?
People, decision makers.
Don't be afraid. Name
Decision
names.
Makers.
Who
People that are deciding these things because jobs just aren't out there.
All right, let me ask one question. New Jersey is the bluest of blue states. I'm going to convince all of you before you leave tonight to be a conservative, I hope. I'm going to try.
For the record, I'm not.
No, that's true. He's more objective. John Corzine, he started out as governor, 4.8%, 9.8% today. He's raised taxes. You have some of the highest property taxes in the country. You have some of the highest state income taxes in the country. Do you blame him?
He's at fault along with a lot of other people that are running the state.
I'm far more scared of the alternative because Christie wants all these tax breaks for the wealthy. So I'm almost more scared of the unknown than I am scared of the higher taxes I get with
Can I play
Corzine.
devil's advocate? Tax breaks for the wealthy. The top 1% of wage earners, what percentage of the income tax bill in this country do you think they pay? If you have to guess. 1% pays blank percent of the total tax bill.
Give him an answer.
They pay a large portion.
1% pays 40, 10% pays 70. So the people that pay, they don't deserve to get. How much of the government should they be? How much should the government be allowed to take? What percentage of their income?
The government should be able to take a greater percentage of the
60%,
tax bracket.
70% of their income?
Well, how else are we going to pay for health care? How else are we going to pay for this stimulus bill?
Give me a percentage. How much should people be allowed to keep? 30%?
I think it has less to do with percentages than absolute numbers. How much do people need to live on?
So you believe sort of in this philosophy, to each American according to their need, from each according to their ability? You do. Well, hang on.
Close to that.
You know who's advocated that philosophy that's Karl Marx. That's Marxism. You support Marxism.
But Marxism was not that bad considering today's society where you have hundreds of chief executives making millions and millions of dollars while you have the middle class people, and there's no more middle class, who are making a lot less money and who are paying probably more in total taxes.
Marcia.
I don't want government telling me how much I can make. I want to be able to have opportunity to work as much as I can. I'll pay my fair share, but I don't want to take anything from the government. I want to do it myself.
So which angers you more, Washington or Wall Street? If you had to choose, which angers you more? Who would say Washington angers you more?
Washington.
How can you separate?
Who would say Wall Street angers you more?
Both.
Wall Street, because Wall Street runs Washington. Everybody knows that.
I disagree. I think Washington runs Wall Street.
I work on Wall Street, and I was...
Hang on. Wait, let's get a mic to you. You work on Wall Street?
I work in the financial industry, and I was let go, just like everybody else. So, no, they don't run the government.
Hold on. Who do you blame for being let go? What do you hold responsible? Nobody?
How can
A lot of people. It's very complex.
afford to get big bucks when the
government's bailing them out?
How can they afford to get bonuses when we're paying for their bailout fund?
All right, we now come to a fundamental, I think, question here. I think it's very, very key, and I think the people at home are going to be asking this question themselves. What do you expect from the government? If your answer is to each according to the need, from each according to their ability, you want the government to take care of health care, daycare. You want them to provide free college.
Janet,
at what point do we become responsible for our own lives?
Janet, hold on. Janet, you're one of the youngest people here. It's going to be your government for the next 60 years. What do you want from them?
I would like us to decrease the national debt for one thing, because of all this debt, and China is going to basically be owning us in the next 20, 50 years. There isn't going to be any more money left for any type of government entitlement, which are already on the way to being broken.
Philip, what do you want to have happen? What do you expect from government for you?
Here's something that might surprise you, which is why I came here. If I'm angry in regards to what's going on in America on the New Jersey gubernatorial race, it's the pulling back or taking back of the homestead rebate that used to be given out, along with living in Bergen County and paying some of the most highest and ridiculous taxes in the world. That's my anger. What'll surprise you is I voted for Corzine. I'm probably voting for Christie.
For Christie this time.
Exactly.
Well, because I think a lot of people, and it goes back to what you're saying and what you're saying and what you're saying, you know, and I guess the question is, and I was trying to get to this, how many of you think the government should play that big a role in your life where they provide everything for you? How many think the government, that's their role? How many think that we should be...
I don't think that's what we're saying at all.
Well, explain.
I think there needs to be some degree of a happy medium. On the one hand, I think people have to be more responsible for themselves and be more responsible for their income and their livelihood. But at the same time, I don't think that having these programs, having these entitlement programs are such a bad idea, considering we are, in fact, paying into them.
All right, here's New Jersey's taxes, though. I looked into it, and I talked to Chris Christie yesterday, and we had him on the TV show the other night. In New Jersey, we already pay about 40% federal income tax, then you got FICA, and then you got Medicare. You've got a 10% property tax and 10% state income tax in the state of New Jersey. You're about 65% of your income. How many of you think that that's too much for the government to take from hardworking people? Is there anybody here that...
Almost everybody.
Is there anybody here that thinks that people should pay more? You do.
I honestly think it depends on how much you make and how much you need. I mean, I think part of what angers people about this situation on Wall Street is, and all these bonuses, is how can you justify that kind of compensation for that kind of work? And for me, the issue is...
It's capitalism. That's what it is. You make $1 billion, God bless you, go make $1 billion. You're making $30,000, you are meant to make $30,000, and that's the way capitalism is.
But how much does one person, does Lloyd Blankfein really need, millions and millions of dollars?
It's billions, God
people
bless him.
don't begrudge people's success, but what people begrudge is the fact that they're beginning to realize that it's three-card Monte out there. The system is rigged, and that's what people are furious about.
All right, so wait a minute. But A-Rod shouldn't make all the money he makes?
No, he should.
Well, he should.
Hear me out. That's the scenario that I was going to get into. It's like a sports scenario, which we talked about a while back, where because A-Rod, if I work in corporate America, I come in and I negotiate my salary. If the guy sitting next to the right of me or to the left of me, who's in the same department and division and holds the same title as me, gets less than me and finds out, as one of my coworkers said a long time ago,
I'm just worried about one thing. If the government takes, you see, I think your work is a part of your life. If the government takes 70% of your life, it destroys incentive. People are not going to work as hard. That has created the standard of living we have in the world. And the other point is we're giving up our freedom. Are you not concerned? The government that bankrupted Medicare and Social Security, who has faith the government can run health care properly? You do. One person. You're the only person. You have faith the government can run health care. Social Security is bankrupt.
And by the way, Sean,
you have faith?
These are Democrats. Yeah. These are primarily Democrats.
Two people in this group, Democrats, think that the government can run health. Yes, sir. Danny.
The fact that Social Security is bankrupt, where'd you get that from? I've been hearing that for 50 years.
It's common knowledge. I mean, it's actually, no. It's in the red.
Absolutely. No, by 2015. It's 2015.
No, by next year. We got, all right, let not your heart be troubled. We're going to come back. We'll have more with our focus group coming up straight ahead.